In this brief presentation, brothers and sisters, we're going to learn the logical and textual reasons why we as Karaites have always rejected the oral law claimed by Orthodox Jews as being the commandments of men and not the commandments from Elohim. Now, first and foremost, I want to say that this video is in no way an attack on Orthodox Judaism or to disrespect the traditions of Orthodox Judaism, nor the sages of old whatsoever. The only reason for these sorts of videos is to give you the reasons why we do not accept these traditions and why we solely adhere to Tanakh, the Hebrew Scriptures. That's all. So I have love and respect for all my Orthodox brothers and sisters. Okay? This is not a way to poke at Orthodox Judaism or to get people riled up, to cause arguments. I don't want any of that. Okay? So let us begin. The logical reasons, and then we'll go to the textual. We'll keep this brief. Number one, logical reasons from our point of view. Okay? With respect. Throughout the Hebrew Scriptures, Tanakh, the word Torah, in the sense of the body of divine instruction, is always used in the singular, where the Mishnah, a genuine oral Torah, surely somewhere in the Scriptures the existence of two Torahs would have been mentioned at least once. On the other hand, the Rabbinites specifically claim there are two Torahs, the written Torah and the oral Torah. Yet the term Torah, when meaning collection of divine instruction, never appears in the plural, like I mentioned, in the entire Hebrew Scriptures, Tanakh. All we read about in the Tanakh is a singular Torah of Moses, never the Torahs of Moses in the plural. Number two, throughout the 6 divisions of the Mishnah, there is a lack of the biblical formula, such as, "And Yehovah spoke unto Moshe and Aaron." Instead, in the Mishnah, it is written, "Rabbi so-and-so said in the name of Rabbi so-and-so." The Mishnah is thus, in our view, clearly the words of men. Number 3, the Tanakh reports that the written Torah was both, listen carefully, lost and forgotten for some 50 years and only rediscovered by the temple priests. You find this in 2 Kings chapter 22, verse 8, and 2 Chronicles chapter 34, verse 15. It is inconceivable to us that an oral law could have been remembered when even the written law was forgotten, especially since the oral law is dependent on the written law to derive its full meaning. Number 4, the rabbis claim that the oral law was given on Mount Sinai as the official interpretation of the Torah. Yet, if one actually looks at the Mishnah and Talmud, they are full of the opinions of rabbis who disagree with each other on almost every single issue. The rabbis explain that whenever there are such disagreements, both opinions are the words of the living God. While it is possible for two learned individuals to reach different binding conclusions, reason dictates that at least one of them is wrong. Karaites maintain that it is unreasonable to believe that God would consistently contradict himself. Now let's go with the textual reasons. Number 1, in Deuteronomy chapter 30, verses 9 through 10, we read, listen carefully, "Then Yehovah, your Elohim, will make you most prosperous, for Yehovah will again rejoice over you for good, as he rejoiced over your fathers, if you shall hearken to the voice of Yehovah your Elohim, to keep his commandments which are written in this book," or the scroll, this scroll of the Torah. It's a physical body of the Torah. Next example, number 2, Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 9. "And Moses wrote this Torah," again singular, "and delivered it unto the priests, sons of Levi." Number 3, Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 11. "When all of Israel has come to appear before your God, your Elohim, in the place which he shall choose, you shall read this Torah before all of Israel in their hearing." Joshua chapter 1, number 4. Joshua chapter 1, verse 8. This scroll of the Torah shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate therein day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written therein. And finally, my favorite, Joshua chapter 8, verses 34 through 35. After that, he, meaning Joshua, read all the words of the Torah, the blessing and the curse, according to all that is written in the scroll of the Torah. There was not a word of all that Moses had commanded, which Joshua did not read in the presence of the entire assembly of Israel, including the women, the children, and the strangers who accompanied them. I'm going to read that one more time. He read all the words of the Torah, the blessing and the curse, all the words, according to all that is written in the scroll of the Torah. There was not a word of all that Moshe had commanded which Joshua failed to read or did not read in the presence of the entire assembly of Israel. So there you have it, the logical and textual reasons. There are many, many more, but I wanted to make this video brief, short and sweet. I hope that you all have a blessed day. May Yehovah bless you. And I hope that you guys will hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so today. So hit that like button so that more people can watch and benefit. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a blessed day. Shalom.